Friends, Diane Adkins here, your violin teacher. And I had a request for some tips on the Bach double concerto for two violins. And I'm going to give you probably a series on this because this is quite a complex piece. I'm going to approach this from Violin 2, Part 2, the second part, and whatever I say about this segment can be translated to Violin 1. So the first thing about this piece that I require for my students, by the way, this is in Suzuki Book 4 at the end. The first thing that I require, by now you should be pretty comfortable in first, second, third, at least those positions, maybe fourth and fifth too by now, if you're going to do the first violin part especially. And then do a lot of listening. That's another tip for this piece. Listen to this played by some of the great violinists. You have this available to you on YouTube. Itzhak Perlman, Hilary Hahn, and there's some of the other greats that have passed now, but you've got a lot of really great examples of this. Okay, so just one of the little things in the beginning of this that I want to talk about today is the bowing style that you do. If you can, you should have been pretty comfortable with this by now in some other pieces. But there's a lot of times where you have to play sort of down here with eighth notes, or you're here with eighth notes and you have to, and it's followed by a longer note. So you have to recover the bow and then set. So here's the first example of that in this piece. Right there, and you want to lift, and then you've got this long dotted quarter note. So that if you will just scan your music and find out how many times you have to do that in this piece, you will be really surprised. Okay, so that's one thing. Practice that. Kind of get comfortable with doing that. Right. Another challenge of the bow in this piece is in the solo after letter A, where you are going from the D string to the E string, D string to E string. So you have to cross over the A string, and so I want to give you an idea about what you should be thinking of when you're practicing this note. You want to let the crossing belong to the end of that note that you played. So you're not the opposite of that would be, see, so I kind of waited a little bit too long there, didn't I? So think about when you're practicing, and again, remember the Practice Smart video that I made a little bit ago. Separate the hands. And when you're thinking about all the little deep elements of playing well, here what we have is what note does the string crossing belong to? So you play the note and then the string crossing and then you stop. Because the string crossing itself belongs to the note that came before it, in this case. So that's how you practice. Now on the other end you do E, cross over. You see, so when you play the E, you have a cross back, and that belongs to that one. So when you're playing it, cross over, cross over. See? So you don't want to hear any any open string in there between those crosses. Okay, now, let's see. So this is part one of a series that I will do on the Bach double. But these two bowing things are some quick tips on the Bach double on the Violin 2, and I'll add some things later on a subsequent video. See part 2.